Hey guys, how you doing? Back again. So today we'll be doing an expert interview with a man who is considered an expert in the arena of data analytics, Mr. Stephen Ng. He's a associate consultant here at BSG. Stephen, the people watching here just want to become better at their profession. They just want to become better at being better consultants and in their lives. So if you could just briefly just share your story, where you come from, and how you came about to be in the consulting profession.
Okay, now I've got a very different story.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'll start from the times I started studying. So I studied in my days. It wasn't that easy to 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 study. So I studied accounting,
Mm-hmm.
management accounting,
Okay.
a chartered. Some but qualification. I'm a chartered management accountant.
Wow, that's not an easy
But
profession.
I started my career actually in financial services,
Mm-hmm.
working for Old Mutual as a cost and management accountant.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, After 18 months of doing that, I realized this is not for me. I didn't like the fact of sitting in an office of 1,000 people and
Oh.
just grinding in front of a computer and basically being a number. So I moved into the manufacturing sector,
Mm-hmm.
into a large furniture manufacturing company group, the AFCOL group, as a cost, also as a cost and management accountant. Uh, and there I got involved in, that was the start of providing information, management information to improve decision making.
Okay.
So putting information together, and in those days, very much using Excel and Excel type reporting to produce different views of management information. What was interesting about that experience, I moved from management accountant, cost and management accountant, to financial accounting. I actually became the financial director,
Mm-hmm.
and then I moved into the production side of the organization.
Okay.
I then actually ended up running the factory as the head of production.
Okay.
So I spent a few years of as the production director, physically running and managing the factory, but doing it in a different way. In those days, factory managers used to just spend their time on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
chasing people around, basically with a stick, to get the production through. Whereas I actually started using information,
Okay.
getting information as to improve the throughput, to reduce cost, and all those types of things. So having the financial background and production background, I actually became quite well known in the group,
Mm-hmm.
which was quite a large group of companies in South Africa in that time. The group actually made a decision that we need to improve on our information systems.
Mm-hmm.
And in those days, the concept of ERP,
Mm-hmm.
you're aware of that?
Yeah, I'm aware.
Enterprise Resource Planning, like
Okay.
SAP and Oracle, that was just starting to be introduced.
Mm-hmm.
And we made a group decision that we want to standardize on an ERP solution.
Okay.
So with my knowledge again of finance and of production,
Mm-hmm.
they chose me to actually head up that project,
All right.
to drive and the rollout of ERP and standardized ERP across the 14 companies in the group. So I went through the process of selecting the software,
Mm-hmm.
so interacting with the vendors and selecting the software that we would actually roll out. And that was my first interaction with consultants.
Okay.
So, I remember I worked with PwC Consulting,
Mm-hmm.
who helped us with the selection process. And it was also my first exposure to the world-class software guys.
Mm-hmm.
So my short list of people was Oracle, SAP,
Yeah.
and Barn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those were the three big ones. And surprisingly, we actually ended up choosing Barn. Barn was a recognized manufacturing software.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that story how I moved, out of the day-to-day operations to a group function, heading up this rollout. I spent 2 years actually now on the project rolling out the software, but when dealing with the consultants and the vendors, I actually enjoy what these guys do.
Okay, so
I actually enjoy what they do. I see they travel the world.
Mm-hmm.
They always go into conferences.
Mm-hmm.
Every day they're a different client.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that sounds a little bit more exciting than working for one company like
Yeah.
I am doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Long story short, I applied for a job actually with one of the vendors on the sales side. I was
Mhm.
actually applied to be an account manager with SAP.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did the interview, they did psychometric testing, and they said, you can start, you can actually we would take you on at sales, but we think you're far more suited to consulting,
Mm-hmm.
professional services, and professional services management. You got that sort of profile. And this is the agency I was talking to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to introduce you to a company that's a global leader, sort of in emerging space.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they introduced me to SAS. SAS, which in those days was the global leader in business analytics,
Okay.
and today is still the global leader, and by far now the global in business analytics, advanced analytics. So I got involved in SAS. I started there as a project manager,
Yeah.
rose to consulting manager,
Mm-hmm.
head of professional services in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And again, in that process, because of my background, I got involved in a lot of international type sharing projects where we were building service offerings.
Mm-hmm.
So my entire claim to fame in SAS was differentiating with consulting,
Mm-hmm.
differentiating with professional services, using intelligence and knowledge to sell,
Mm-hmm.
to sell a concept and
Yeah.
to sell and eventually sell software,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to trying to sell software with functions and features.
Okay.
So we were actually we introduced the concept of value-based selling, creating a value proposition to
Mhm.
customers. You've heard the concept of selling a business solution,
Mm-hmm.
and the software enables that.
Mm.
But I actually built was part of building and changing the entire view of the professional services strategy,
Mm-hmm.
and changing the profile of professional services, introducing more typical business consulting profiles into the organization.
Yeah.
So with that and the involvement in the international organization, I actually got an opportunity to head up Asia Pacific.
Asia Pacific.
So I moved, so you can imagine, I was the head of South Africa Professional Services,
Yeah.
and I was promoted to head up Asia Pacific, so regional head. My exact title was Executive Director Professional Services Asia Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
And there I was responsible for 14 countries, and each country had their own professional services organization, and they reported into me, and I reported to the global head of professional services.
Mm.
So that's in a nutshell my story of our rose. I'd say from
From the bottom.
from the right bottom to one of the global leaders in the world in this particular space of business analytics. So that's actually a long version of the story.
It's an interesting version of the story. It's good to hear where people start off from and where they end up. So how long has your career been spanning?
Okay, I've started. I'm going to give my age away now. I started working in 1985. So that's 30. What's that? That's 35 years.
35 years.
Almost 35 years.
In the data analytics space.
No, as I said, I started. The first 10 years was, as I said, in AFCOL, in the furniture industry. But you can say my entire career, from day one, was always about providing information to improve decision making. And if you ask me what my job is today, I'm still doing the exact same thing. I assist companies in surfacing the right information, the right intelligence that will enable them to make better decisions. And I've gone, as I say, from being in the corporate world as a customer to being a vendor, to being a consultant, to being the head of a consulting organization, and now to be a sort of independent consultant. But if you analyze it, it was doing the same thing, just at different levels, but the same sort of message.
So so you have been expert after 30 plus years in.
But if you ask me, like people say, are you an expert? I'm not a data analytics expert. So I'm not a technical person. I'm not a statistician. I don't know how to build a regression model, for example. But what I'd say I'm an expert in is what I just said, is how do you transform your organization? How do you transform your organization to becoming a fact-based decision organization? It's not just about the technology, it's not just about analytics, but it's about understanding the dimensions of people, process, infrastructure and culture, and how those dimensions have to change in order to surface intelligence for fact-based decisioning. That, I'd say, is my strength, is what you need to do in those dimensions to enable as fact-based decisioning.
So what is the importance of fact-based decision making? It's a big buzzword around in BSG and around the consulting industry right now.
So another thing I go on record to say, I do believe you in business, and especially in business today, you only have two differentiators. You have one differentiator is the quality of the information intelligence you can surface for decisioning throughout your ecosystem. And the other differentiator is the quality of the people you have to interpret that intelligence. Gone are the days where you can use gut feel to make business decisions. The market is changing too fast. The dynamics today is totally different to 5 years ago. And 100%, 200% different to what it was 20 years ago. But how do you understand the business dynamics and to understand the markets today? You have a wealth of data. You have a wealth of data that you can use to gain understanding. And I say, I still don't understand why people don't see that. They still have difficulty. I have to convince organizations why they should be using the data available to them to gain insights about their customers,
Mhm.
their risks, their operations, their performance. Why is this so difficult for people to understand this? You know, and maybe it's a good thing because that keeps me in a job.
In a job, yeah. Allows you to make money.
But I think you'll agree with me.
Mhm.
You know, especially in the world today.
Mhm.
You know, every single thing we touch produces data.
Mm.
I mean, you know, from your phone, from your computer,
Yeah. So it's
from
buying stuff.
from your you know, your credit card,
Mhm.
from and the latest thing, as I say, even the machines we use.
Mhm.
You know, the machines as in the cars we drive, the watches we wear, the televisions we watch, the fridges we use.
Mhm.
It's all storing data.
Yeah.
And I say the people who, to use another buzzword, the people who find the story
Mhm.
in the data, and it's about their customers, because we're also in the age of the customer
Yeah.
now, will be the winners in the future. You'll find the new companies, you know, new business models that are being built are starting with a foundation of data and intelligence as the core to their business model.
Mhm.
You know, some companies that you will know, you know, companies like Uber.
Mhm.
You know, Uber's taken over the taxi business in the world.
Yeah.
They've used data to understand their customers.
Mhm.
They created an infrastructure using the internet to enable their model. They don't own one single taxi, but they're the biggest taxi provider in the world.
Mm.
There's an example. But the new age companies think like this.
Mhm.
You know, and I can mention, you know, companies like, let's just say Google,
Mhm.
Facebook, Yahoo.
What about the Amazons and
Amazon was, you know, Amazon started with that 20 years ago.
Mm.
I mean, the entire model is based on data. What, you know, when you log into Amazon,
Mhm.
what you see is different to what I see. What you see is based on your profile and your what they understand about what you like and what you don't like.
Mm.
And that's all got analytical models in the back,
Mm.
crunching every single click that you make on the internet, and also data that they can buy. But the bottom line is, organizations that are going to be successful in future
Mhm.
understand what I'm talking about now.
Mm.
That I can say as a fact.
Okay.
So again, a message to, you know, especially to, I try and say to younger people who are coming into the market,
Yeah.
a good career is to acknowledge what I'm saying here. You know, understand the value of data and transforming data into intelligence. And there's career paths that can, you know, enable you to get involved in this field.
Mhm.
You've heard of the roles of data scientists, but that's just one role. You know, the data scientist is the guys who do the advanced analytics in it. But there's roles around data integration, architecture, business intelligence, what I call business analytic domain people. I call myself more, I'm a business analytics domain, and that's because I haven't got the technical abilities. I can just talk this language of intelligence and why it is valuable to your organization. So definitely, you know, these are the roles and the careers of the future. I can go on talking forever, so you better
No,
stop me.
because no, I'm learning a lot from you in terms of big data and data analytics. It's obviously it's something that I've known about, but not too much in depth. That's why I'm just taking in everything that you're saying. So just as more of a closer, nowadays I know young people they tend to jump from profession to profession, job to job, business to business, whether entrepreneurship venture to entrepreneurship venture. But what is the importance of finding one thing, one field, one domain, and actually just sticking to it over a sustained period of time instead of being what my dad calls a kangaroo, just jumping around?
No, so that's a very, very important question, and again, I've got a very direct answer to that. To be successful in anything, you must have a passion for it. You speak to any successful business person, any successful entrepreneur, any person who's risen through the ranks, because they did it without even thinking. And with very little effort, because it was just natural for them to actually be doing what they do, and they enjoyed it, they had fun doing it, and they had a passion for it. As you can see, I've got a passion for what I say about taking data and turning it into intelligence to enable decision making. That's a thing and I've got a passion for teaching people how to do that. So you must have a passion for what you are doing. And another bit of advice is you must become an expert, and in order to become an expert, you must specialize in something. You must decide early on in your career what your passion is and what do you want to be a specialist in. The market has moved from generalist to specialist, and especially in consulting. And again, I say my advice to consultants: gone are the days of the general business analyst. Where we've just got business analyst type skills. You need to be a specialist in a particular area. And if I use my example as an example, so you want to, for example, be a data scientist, which is a specialist career for banking, which is an industry, and within banking, I'm a customer specialist.
You're a customer specialist.
So you see how refined that speciality goes. It starts by saying I'm a data scientist, but I'm a data scientist with a banking focus and a customer focus within banking. So I'm that level and I'm the best in the world. When you want to talk about customer and transforming customer data into intelligence, I'm the best in the world at doing it. So that's what I mean about specialization. So even general consulting, you need to specialize in an industry, and you need to specialize in a part of that industry, in a business segment, like customer risk, operations, performance management. The generalists are dying. Are dying.
The generalists are like the dinosaurs now.
Yeah. Just to give you something that you might think, you think a doctor is a specialist.
Well, it depends.
Okay, so I'm a doctor. If we use data and the way the world is going, I'm of the opinion doctors will disappear very soon. I think this is the last generation of doctors in their current form, because we can use data to do exactly what doctors do. You have certain symptoms, I can type that symptoms into a machine, or the machine will read the symptoms for you, based on a what you're wearing. It can pick up your temperature, it can pick up your blood pressure, it can pick up all your vital signs. It will tell you before you actually getting sick, or before you are sick, that you are showing symptoms of getting sick. It can prescribe the medication for you, and all you have to do is take the medication. If it can detect vital organs that are not functioning well, and it can make decisions around replacing those organs. And to replace those organs, machines can do the operation as well. Why I'm mentioning this to you, this is where the world is going. You know, and it's all enabled again by data. So, you know, my advice again to, in fact, to everybody I speak to is, you know, understand this element of the world. You know, start thinking, you know, and being aware of, you know, everything you touch, everywhere you go is being recorded.
Yeah.
And it's not for bad reasons, it's actually for good reasons. People are actually trying to make your life better. You know, they're trying to actually make your life better and easier by understanding who you are and providing things that are actually going to improve your life. Before, you know, it was used to actually, like people are afraid of somebody's watching me, you know, for bad reasons.
Or like our privacy. Or maybe we just want to get up to no good.
You know, most people are have good things in mind. You know, they're not trying to, and most of it's about trying to sell you something. But what sell you something that is actually in your interest.
That is actually going to help us out.
Yeah. So that's why you see, you know, lifespan of people are actually getting longer now because things are becoming a little bit more specialized, a little bit more targeted.
And can benefit them.
And we can detect things a lot sooner. Again, and what's the underlying element of all of this?
Data. We get it.
So you see, it's actually quite interesting. It's not, you know, like this, you hear this concept of analytics, and you think this is, you know, this is rocket science.
Yeah.
And it's not for me, but it's for everybody. It's the world we live in.
Alright.
Okay.
So I get you. So just one. That's Stephen Ng on big data analytics, and the importance of owning your industry. So just one one more piece of advice for the people watching. Just one.
I think I've touched on it already. Is, you know, follow what you're passionate about. If you're not happy doing something, change it. A good measure of whether you're happy doing what you're doing is if you find it difficult to get up in the morning to go do what you are doing, that's a good measure that you should not be doing it. Yeah. When you jump out of bed in the morning to go off to do what you do, then you know you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, we got that. Okay, so that's it from Stephen Ng. In terms of being an expert in going out and owning your industry, we'll be doing a lot more of these with the guys from BSG, and obviously as many experts as I can find. Watch them more out for on this YouTube channel, and thank you very much, Stephen.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank
Thanks,
you.